into the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining me today. Big program planned for you. We got lots of things to talk about. Gamecock fans are a happy bunch right now as they pulled off an upset, winning as a 20-point dog over the Florida Gators over the weekend. And I tell you what, you know how much of a big of a win that was? When coaches get fired because you win, it's a big, big deal. Grantham, the defensive coordinator for the folks from Florida, he is no longer with Florida. That's pretty much how that works out, as he was relieved of his duties, and they're going to have someone else take over for him. But South Carolina got the job done, rushing for 284 yards on the ground. The other big stat, the most points that Gamecocks have scored against Florida in the history of the series. So they've been playing for a while now. Every year since when the Gamecocks went into the league in 1991, the most points that they've gotten in the series was this past weekend against the Gators. So huge win for the Gamecocks. Now, normally in November, right now, you're thinking about the smell of, your turkey, or at least I am. Chunky guy alert here. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. Imagine that. But, yeah, you smell that? What you're smelling is maybe a bowl season for South Carolina. Wait, what? We didn't think that was going to happen at the beginning of the season. We talked about it and said, you know what? If they could get one of those wins, if they could win over Florida or they could win over Auburn, maybe that would be the win that they would knock it out. They get that win over Florida. And that puts the Gamecocks in position where they have 3 games to get to win one of them. Final 3 matchups, very simple. I say simple. Go on the road to Como to play Mizzou. We'll have the folks from the Mazodcast on with us later this week previewing the Tigers. 3 sets of Tigers in a row for the Gamecocks. The Missouri Tigers on the road, 4 o'clock this Saturday, followed by the Auburn Tigers. That will be coming up next week. Got a game time announced for that today. That's at 7 o'clock. Night game at Williams-Brice. And then you've got the matchup with Clemson at the end of the season. Win one of those 3, and you are eligible for a bowl bid. Now, I don't think that anyone is going to be upset if it is the Gasparilla Bowl or if it's going to be, I don't know, the Music City Bowl, whatever bowl that you want. The fact that Shane Beamer has come in and has said, hey, you know what? I've gotten a chance. He's given his team a chance to quite possibly take home a bowl win. That is impressive, to say the least. All right, we'll take your calls at 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Shane Beamer did say last night on his teleconference, he talked a little bit about the starting quarterbacks. Now, you would think that, hey, Jason Brown, the guy that started for Florida, that would be the guy. Yeah, not so much. Beamer didn't really give the ringing endorsement there. He may end up starting, but this is what Shane Beamer said on his teleconference last night.
I'm sure you'll ask about the quarterback situation. I mean, I haven't even talked to the quarterbacks. I mean, we had practice today. We've been in meetings all day. Obviously, John was our player of the week, our player of the game. So that kind of speaks for itself. But as far as sitting down with any quarterbacks and all that stuff, it is what it is. But we don't need. I'm not going to be answering a ton of questions on the quarterback depth chart and all that. Zeb practiced tonight. Health-wise, we're good. No significant injuries from last night. Typical bumps and bruises and some guys that are banged up, but nobody new that we anticipate not being able to play this weekend coming out of last night.
So Jason Brown went in, and let's be honest, that was pretty much the only option that South Carolina had. I don't know if Zeb Nolan was completely 100% healthy, but not to be disrespectful to Zeb Nolan, but he's not exactly a picture of mobility back there. But it seems to me like the offensive line looked better last week or in the Florida game. Now, some of it could have to do with Florida being a gong show right now because they are a gong show program. But the offensive line looked better. They looked like they wanted to play for Brown. That's kind of the way that I took it. And obviously, we'll take your calls, Gamecock fans, at 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Clemson will also play this weekend. They've got UConn, which is UConn is just a horrible football team. I don't know any other way to describe it. So with that, you've got UConn coming in, but Clemson will be without one of its starters for the next couple of weeks, including next week's matchup against Wake Forest. That could have a lot to do with the way that the matchup in Charlotte turns out.
Biggest injury for us looks like Ngata. He's probably going to be out at least a couple of weeks with a foot injury. So that's probably the one for sure that I know will be out. And
there you go with Clemson coach Dabo Swinney on his teleconference last night. 803-978-1832. We'll go out to the phones. Welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Big Barney Ross here.
Hello, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right. Hold on. Didn't I see you on? I seen you on the 2% milk carton, but not the skim milk. What's up with that? I mean, do you? I know that for us chunky guys, the skim milk is important. But I was at the Kroger and I saw you on the 2% milk carton, and I was wondering, you should have been on both. But
well, you won't find Kentucky fans on buttermilk because it's cultured.
Well, how about eggnog? Would you go on that?
Well, we keep losing. We're going to wind up looking like Florida.
Yeah, that should be Kentucky's goal for the rest of the year is don't be like Florida. There we go.
You're exactly right. I've got a question about Dan Mullins, and I'll get off here and listen to what you got to say.
Yes, sir.
Do you think the Miami Dolphins have really extended an offer to him to come coach there?
No.
And I'll get off and listen to what you got to say.
Thank you for that. No, I don't think the Miami Dolphins want to bring. I think Dan Mullen is untouchable right now, meaning that not that he's just this glorified greatness. It's just that he's like a fungus right now. Nobody wants to play for that guy right now. Do you think that Florida team? Look, we go back to the Georgia matchup where the team didn't go out and stand for the alma mater, which is, according to most the Florida folks that I know, that is like a big tradition. Win or lose, you sing the alma mater with the band. You had one guy go out and do it? This team is, I think he's completely lost this team. Now it gets worse because he's going to expect some new defensive coordinator to come in and get into the mix where it's like, you know what? You're going to have to listen to a new guy on defense, and you guys better get it right. Dan Mullen, they should have fired everyone. Seriously. If you're going to fire one assistant coach, you should just get rid of everybody because there's obviously something wrong with the culture within that program. He was actually talking about Kentucky. Yeah, we learned about Kentucky. Man, we talk about the horseshoe that some teams can seem to have. Kentucky had that the first 6 games of the season. And I have to agree with the Georgia fans that are over in the chat room. I think they broke Kentucky. I really kind of believe that. They haven't really been the same since. So we shall see that with the Wildcats. Their remaining schedule, they could go 9-3. They could go 9-3. They really, really could. And that could be like one of the best seasons in Kentucky football history. And they should be proud of that. But they should also know that they are a basketball school and stay in that lane. Back out to the phones we go. And welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rob. It's Bobby and KC. How are you this afternoon?
Bobby, how are you, man?
Okay, I'm just going to make an announcement for the football that really counts from now on. The playoff selection show is at 9 p.m. tomorrow, ESPN. It's sandwiched in between two college basketball games.
Well, we'll talk about the rankings and all of that, but in reality, those rankings don't mean anything.
Yeah, but still, the teams that are really in it count. And it's from here on till championship Friday and Saturday. Don't forget that.
Yes, sir.
So even though I'm a Hurricane fan and we're out, all the belly aching around here about South Carolina and Clemson, it's nice, but wait till next year like a Cubs fan.
All right.
Better luck next year. So the real football that counts, the teams are still in it. The next rankings are on. The final rankings come out December 7th?
Yeah, right after the
right
after the conference.
Have a good afternoon. Thank you, Rob.
Appreciate it, Bobby. Yeah, you're right about that. And folks are going to get tore up over these rankings. And I'm going to tell you right now. We've talked about Cincinnati being in the rankings. I think that if the rankings come out and Cincinnati moves up, I think that's just silly. If you've watched Cincinnati, they're not a very good program as far as on the field right now. They're a good G5 team. Good G5 teams don't belong in the college football playoff. Now, there's also something else that happened over the weekend. And I've said something on this program where I've got to do my Michael Jackson impression and moonwalk it back. I watched a good piece of the Alabama and LSU game. The stats on that game are silly, and I'll explain to you why. Remember the scene in Friday where Craig got fired on his day off? If you don't know what that is, go and Google it. But essentially, they're playing against a coach who is fired, and they get 6 yards rushing. I think there's something silly there with Alabama. Go back out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, everything good, man. Everything good. I'm hearing
sure
all over. I'm hearing everywhere.
Hey, I just had something come across my Twitter feed, and it said that you were going to be the new defensive coordinator at Florida because you're better than the idiot you just fired.
Well, that was coming regardless. His contract was up at the end of the year.
Well, are you going to accept the job? And what did you ask for? Did you ask for
we'll be
lunch
fine.
or what?
Hey, I'm still a Gator. We'll be fine.
You're not going to take the job?
No, kudos to South Carolina. They finally got something right. But that's about the only thing they're going to get right. I'm ready for basketball. I'm getting ready for basketball anyway. So it is what it is.
Well, Kentucky fans should have been that way too. But now Florida fans are ready for basketball. You're absolutely right, sir. So good point for that.
I'm going to ride the ship on out. I'm still a Gator. I'm always going to be a Gator. We'll be back. That's a fact, Jack.
Well, basketball season's upon us. Maybe you'll be back there.
Oh, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine on the basketball court. Okay. Ain't no doubt.
Well, I do appreciate you calling and congratulating the Gamecock fans.
Yeah,
they put.
They played out of their mind this weekend. They did.
I went back and looked at it. They could have scored, and I'm not joking here. They could have scored 50 plus if they wanted to.
Oh yeah, that's the most points they done scored in a long time.
It's most points they've scored against Florida in the history of the series.
No doubt.
No, that's true. That's an absolute fact.
Yeah.
It's the most points they've ever scored against Florida.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, I know that hurts, right?
Yeah, it stings a little bit, but we're gonna be fine. Dan Mullen get things right, and certainly we will get us a defensive coordinator. Should have got it last year.
I think you need a new coach, sir. I'm just
no. You'll be fine. Who we gonna get? Who's out there?
Florida is a nationally recognized program that could probably go and get whoever it is that they want. So I don't want to hear this crap about Florida can't
Who's
get
out
anybody.
there?
Who do you want? You want Cristobal at Oregon? Who do you want, man?
No. I don't want him. Last coach came from Oregon, fell on his face.
Well, that's true, but that was down at Florida State. That's not necessarily Florida. But no, I'm just saying, Ed Orgeron's looking for a job. You guys could get him. We got
a brand new football facility opening up this year, so we're gonna be fine.
Well, hopefully you'll open up a recruiting center where Dan Mullen will like to recruit. So you guys can.
Oh, he
fix
will
that
be
too.
hitting the trail. Ain't no doubt about that. We will recruit.
Well, we'll see.
We need to bring Charlie Strong back as a defensive coordinator.
Well, that might actually be a good move. Bring him back because the defense wasn't bad when he was there. Billy agrees with me online. Ed O would be a hit down there, man.
Oh no, he's a good defensive man.
I think Ed Orgeron would be a hit down in Florida.
Yeah, no.
Just saying.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Well, Hollywood, I appreciate you calling the program, man. Thank you.
No doubt.
All right, there you go. At least Hollywood called and put it out there, and you can tell that loss stings a bit there for the Florida Gators fans, and I'll tell you what, man, some of the stuff that I read last night was or last couple days have been, wow, they are not happy with Dan Mullen. I think Hollywood's the only guy left that may be happy with him. Let's go out to the phones again. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon. All right, talk on the phone there, brother. Let's go. You got to turn down the radio. Talk on the phone.
Phones again. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon. All right, talk on the phone there, bro.
There you go. You got to call me back, man. You got to talk on the phone. You can't do that you can't have the radio up. You got to listen on the phone, my friend. Anyway, I think that the reality is that it comes back to Dan Mullen had an embarrassing loss. They were comparing this loss to the loss to Georgia Southern, where they did not complete a pass. Remember that? They did not complete a pass Georgia Southern did not complete a pass against Florida and still won. And they think that this loss was much worse than that. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the Gamecock team here because they went down, strapped up, and went and knocked those Florida Gators in the teeth. And they looked really good. Kevin Harris with 100-plus yards, 2 100-yard rushers in the game. The Gamecocks earned it. Florida trying to take away from what happened is kind of silly. My favorite thing was someone tweeted out, well, they had 20 of those guys had the flu. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Not for one piece of a second. That's like having Megan campaign for you. Well, we had to walk on grass and the grass hurt our feet. It's the same thing. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. We shall see how things shake up there for Florida. But it's going to be interesting because, in my opinion, they are broke. They are absolutely broke. And Dan Mullen, I don't think, has the fortitude to fix it. So if you're a Florida fan right now, it's not good. It's not good at all. And it's not just because of the South Carolina loss. It's because everything has gone wrong with that program since the infamous shoe game with LSU. You remember the shoe game with LSU, right? You know, the one where Mullen can see things, but he can't see the penalty, right?
Could you see what was going on in the field? Because we couldn't even see, like, from where we were.
Oh, with the fog?
Oh, yeah, we couldn't see.
Yeah, I could see it.
What did you see with Marco Wilson's decision?
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a penalty. I have no idea what happened. I didn't see it.
You think?
So, I mean, you guys probably, I don't know. Did you guys see it? I don't know.
Yeah.
You threw a guy's shit.
Okay. Yeah, that's a penalty, coach. Yeah, that's the way that it works. What a mess. What a mess. What a mess. What a mess. 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to be on the rundown this afternoon. Reaction Monday. I've already got some Florida folks that have called. That's there. Kentucky folks have called. Sound off for your team this afternoon. 803-978-1832. This is the rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. Yeah, did Tennessee lose to Florida? I can't remember that. Boy, I tell you what, man. You mentioned the whole booster shot thing. You want to get people upset? Just mention COVID vaccine. Oh my goodness. People get mad as all get out. It's like nobody has like any respect anymore on that front. Either you want to get vaccinated or you don't. I don't really care. Do whatever the hell you want to do with your body. It's your body. Holy crap. I literally had to tell one guy that, what was it, a couple days ago. He was going into this whole thing about the vaccine this and the vaccine that. And, you know, if we don't all get vaccinated, there's a good chance that we'll, you know, and we're all going to go to hell, basically, if we don't get vaccinated. Brother, you don't know anything about anyone. You're over here. I don't even know you. And you're trying to tell me how great the vaccine is. And you don't even know if I'm vaccinated or not. Why would you even come with that? It's insane. Insane. Oh, goodness. That's probably the one thing I don't like talking about on the show at all, is because people are so hell-bent either one way or the other. It's like, just shut the hell up about it. Good SEC dog, good point, man. If you don't want to get the vaccine, don't get it. I don't care. I truly don't care. And I don't want to hear your I'd rather you talk to me about like toe fungus than the vaccine. You're not going to change anybody's mind. It's just not going to happen. So there's that. Thank you, Tennille. Hope I pronounced that right. I feel bad if I don't. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining me on the show today. By the way, quick basketball note. I know basketball is like, I'm doing this in honor of the folks who've already called up and they're looking forward to basketball season. The Kentucky fan that called earlier, they always think it's basketball season. And, of course, Hollywood, our resident Florida folk, who said, man, I'm ready for basketball season. Well, good for you, sir. Good for you. By the way, the Gamecocks will be without one of their best player, in my opinion, as Keyshawn Bryant will not be with the team for the first 5 games of the season.
Bit of bad news, disappointing news. Keyshawn Bryant will be suspended for the first 5 games of the season due to violation of athletic department policy. And so he's with us every day. He practices. He's in great spirits. And you know, he's my guy. And unfortunately, it's something that that I just had to announce today. So everyone's aware.
Coach Martin not happy with all that. I don't know what the deal is with Keyshawn Bryant, but apparently, whatever it is, Coach Martin had to make the announcement today and wasn't very happy about it. So there's that. Gamecocks will play tomorrow night against USC Upstate. Then they got a couple of games this weekend. Princeton, I believe, is the first game. And then after that, they play Western Kentucky or Minnesota on Sunday. Let's go back out to the phones. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. This is the Biscuit. How are you?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. Number one, to express this is what makes college football so cool. All right, and I'm not trolling, by the way. This still sounds like I'm trolling.
I don't think you can have a call where you don't troll and piss off somebody. I mean, no offense.
I mean,
I'm not trolling you with that statement, but I can't remember a call where you didn't have something, something smart behind it.
This is what I love about college football.
Sure.
So they can go, they go 4-4 through the first 8 games. They're miserable. They haven't beaten anybody that's of value, really. They struggled with bad teams. They win this one game, and their perspective completely changes, right? The difference between being 5-4 and 4-5 is so different.
Oh yeah.
Because they realize they hit the bottom and jumped up a little bit, and now the perspective is not that they will, but hey, can we get to 8-4? Which is not likely. Still, I understand that they still have a tough schedule, the rest of the way, but still, I mean, just that one game out of 9 completely gives them hope looking into next year, because a first-year coach gets a win that he needed. It kind of reminds me of the win over Tennessee that Mark Richt had in his first year. Even though I know Tennessee was much higher ranked than what Florida was coming in, but it's still a huge win.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that wasn't too inflammatory. What else you got?
Well, the other thing, I went to the Georgia-Missouri game this weekend.
How was
and,
that?
It was fun. I mean, obviously, we got off to a little slow start. It wasn't great in the first quarter, but people aren't realizing. See, a lot of people look at the box score, and they're seeing Stetson Bennett 13 of 19 for 255 yards, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm going to ask you here in a moment, and it's going to look like
many times.
You know what I'm going to ask you in a moment, and it's going to sound like I'm trolling you and trying to upset you. But the first thing that came to my head was, okay, Georgia's up 30, and JT Daniels trots out, which means A, he's ready to go, but B, they're not confident enough to put him out there until they're up 30. Now, you have to hold Kirby Smart accountable for this, because in his mind, Stetson Bennett is his quarterback. Now, there are tons of Georgia fans that are telling me JT Daniels is much better. NFL draft experts have JT Daniels rated as a highly rated quarterback, but not good enough to unseat Stetson Bennett. And Stetson Bennett has done everything that has been asked of him and has led the team to where they are now. But this hangs on Kirby Smart if he goes and he stinks it up and loses a game to Alabama that could only be lost because of, in my opinion, turnovers, etc.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, every decision that he makes from the top to the bottom. Now, you like to focus on one decision that he's made, but he's made many decisions, and 99% of them are fantastic. But you're right; he's responsible for the decision on the QB.
But
like I said, Jermaine
with
Burton
this defense and the way that things have shaped up, where, let's be honest, at this juncture, LSU held Alabama to 6 yards rushing. And the LSU defense is nowhere even close to what Georgia's defense is.
Yeah,
the only team that I think that can actually remotely challenge Georgia right now is Ohio State. But the road is paved for Georgia. So I know that sounds like I'm just laying it out there, but with the way that things are shaping up, Bennett has to come through, or it's just going to be like, wow.
I agree with you. The problem is like I said, what we're nervous about is we have in the wall of ice, we have one crack, and that is the potential for Stetson Bennett to throw 4 or 5 of those passes, right? And then 3 of them get picked. And suddenly when you have a game like that, things can go in reverse against a really good team. So I'm just saying, I was at the game. I saw some of his throws that everybody's celebrating. He throws brilliant. He threw the same pattern to Arian Smith on the first touchdown as he did against Florida to Kyrus Jackson, that out, which was beautiful. Both those passes were beautiful. But other passes, he throws behind receivers, or he kind of like waits, like he acts like he has a really strong arm, waits for the receiver to run down the field 50 yards, and then tries to heave it up there, and the receivers have to come back and get it all the time. I mean, he's not accurate on his deep balls, and it makes me very nervous.
I give the Georgia coaching staff some credit on this. You mentioned that play that he's ran more than once. They run that a lot, and the reason they run it is because he's really good at it, and they're putting him into a position where he can make those good throws that he can really make, and put him in a position where he can win. So props to the Georgia coaching staff for that. But I just think, especially I go back and I look like at last year's Missouri game and the way JT Daniels played in that game where he stepped up and was throwing the ball around a good bit. And I know Mizzou's not exactly the best defense in the world, but you just, man, that kind of a quarterback who is now, we know, healthy because he was put out on the field and he's sitting on the bench. And that's just, wow.
Right. The problem is that Georgia with JT Daniels at top level can run on 8 cylinders. They can't with this guy. I mean, they might be able to still win everything because of the way the way it's playing out. But definitely, they would be playing at their highest level. If JT Daniels were in there playing his top level game, I don't think anybody could challenge Georgia right now. But with it the way it is, there's still that open opportunity for that because Stetson will throw 3 or 4 balls a game that are directly to the other team or behind somebody. So, yeah. And I realized I was in the stand when I was sitting in the stands. As soon as JT Daniels threw that interception, he hit Burton, I think, and it flipped up into the air and was intercepted. I heard a couple of the fans like, "Oh, that's why you're on the bench. That's why you're on the bench." The dude has been out for 4 weeks. He's not expected to be perfect when he goes in. For you to not acknowledge
they were up 30, so shut up.
I mean, it's just like it's silly that I can't see it, but anyway. I've been on with you for too long. I'll let you go and
all right, man.
grab somebody else.
Break, but thanks a lot, buddy.
Yeah,
appreciate it, man. All right, there you go, Biscuit joining us on the program, and yeah, what's Jay online says ditch the 92 Maxima and take the Lambo out for a few laps. I agree, sir. I agree. More of the rundown when we return. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. That's funny. He practices against the 2s, Billy. Look at Tennille with the great comment. Let me highlight that one. That's a good comment, Tennille. There we go. Yeah, Hollywood was on earlier. He says he's going to basketball season. Yeah, I think Bama's going to win by like 45 points.
Your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword GRAND to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply to the station-wide contest. That's GRAND to 200-200.
This is Clay Travis. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network. Presented by BioNTech and Pfizer.
You're being silly, Justin.
Festivals, football, great outdoors. Some people say fall is the best time of the year. It may also be a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Sports Radio, Fox Attitude. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Well, welcome back to the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. Ryan says everyone's saying the running game was the difference, but I think having an adequate QB is the reason the running game was successful. Yeah, I mean, 284 yards on the ground though is kind of hard to overshadow there. If you have 2 running backs that rush for 100 yards, I say your chances of winning a game are pretty much in the, I'm going to say, the 95th percentile. I really believe that. I really, 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 really believe that. So, and I could be wrong, but we shall see. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. By the way, some coaching carousel updates here. Washington today suspended their head coach, Jimmy Lake, without pay following an incident on the sideline on Saturday. Will not participate in football activities this week and will not be allowed to coach in the game against Arizona State. He slapped, this is what the report says, slapped a player on the helmet and shoved him in an effort to separate a skirmish with an Oregon player. Goodness. Yeah, great. Welcome into the rundown here on Fox Sports Radio. What's up? Hello. Okay, well, call back. 803-978-1832. By the way, I get frustrated when I see stuff like this. I think that Coach Lake probably had good intentions at the start to basically keep the skirmish from happening, but you got to remember there's always a camera on you. So there's that. What a mess that comes out to be. Texas Tech, the Red Raiders have hired Baylor associate head coach Joey McGuire. Sources confirmed Monday morning to 247 Sports. So we'll see how that works out for them. Oregon State defensive coordinator Tim Teasbar has been fired by Coach Jonathan Smith. Inside linebackers coach Trent Bray will call plays for the defense. They're coming off a 37-34 loss in double overtime to Colorado, who is not a very good team. Washington offensive coordinator John Donovan has been fired. Wide receiver coach Junior Adams will take over the play calling duties. Of course, Florida's fired defensive coordinator Todd Grantham and offensive line coach John Havesi. That's reported by Bruce Feldman. UMass, Walt Bell has been fired at UMass, according to Pete Thamel of Yahoo Sports. Oh, man. Lots of people have been fired in the past couple of days. Akron, they fired their coach, Tom Arth. Arth was in his third season with the program. They are 2-7 this year, a 1-4 mark in MAC play. So lots and lots of people are moving on as the coaching carousel spins and spins and spins. There's that. Okay. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Of course, we did have Tennessee winning over Kentucky. Talked a little bit about that, but didn't really get down into it. Tennessee got the job done. We thought that maybe Tennessee was turning the corner, and maybe they are. Kentucky's definitely going a different direction. Let's see here. After the phones we go. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Rob, it's Bobby and KC. I'm going to double dip.
Yeah, what you got?
In
Bobby?
case I don't call you, happy Veterans Day on Thursday. My work schedule's changed.
I hear you, buddy.
Okay. And also, it's just coming out from Stuart Mandel right now. It looks like Trev Alvarez, the TV star and / athletic director at Nebraska, is giving Scott Frost the vote of confidence at Nebraska.
Well, Nebraska's playing pretty well, so.
Well, they're playing well, but the thing is, how are they gonna do with comparing them to Tom Osborne? And they're gonna give him more time. I'm no fan of Nebraska because I'm grateful to say Miami always beat their butt in the Orange Bowl. But what the thing is, with all these impatient people, and they're always being measured up to national champions from the past, coaches from a long time ago, the landscape has changed.
You're right about
that. Sound negative and cynical. Of course, that's going on in Miami right now. Manny keeps winning, so Manny's employed today, meaning Manny Diaz, the head coach of the Hurricanes. Now can he go to Tallahassee and win Saturday? So
we'll have to see how that works out.
Patience is a virtue. Didn't they teach you that back then when you were a young boy?
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, I learned it too, but I've never been patient.
Never been patient.
That was it. Happy Veterans Day, Rob. Happy Veteran to all the veterans out there listening.
All right, Bob. Appreciate it, man. Back out to the phones we go. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, it's Billy.
Hey, Billy. How are you?
Great show.
Thank you.
You need to eliminate Alan V out of chat.
Allen's harmless. He just
Well,
you know.
he's just pissed off his new parole officer's pretty strict.
You can handle that with Allen in the chat room there, buddy. Anyway, what you got
Hey,
for the program?
I want to thank all the Georgia fans, Georgia for beating Kentucky, that allowed Tennessee to beat Kentucky. I want to thank them for that. And damn, if we didn't see a miracle, we seen JT Daniels walk on grass this weekend. I said, "Oh my God, look at him! He's walking on grass."
Beginning of the season, Georgia told me he could walk on water. Now we're just happy that he's out there on grass. So there's that.
And for all the Georgia fans, you're ranked number 1 and you're playing unranked Tennessee. So yeah, you're going to beat the shit out of us.
Oh,
Captain Obvious.
Oh, I got it done.
Captain Obvious.
All right, can't curse on the radio. Sorry, man. Oh goodness. Yeah, remember when you're on the radio, you can't curse. All right, we're gonna go back out to the phones and welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Aren't you thankful you have a Megan Mullen delay system over there?
I had to dump out of that. That was not good. But that you can't do that. So remember, you're on the radio. You can't curse. What do you got for the show there, Megan?
Rob, another block punt. Another block punt. Best special teams coach in America, as I've been telling you the entire offseason and throughout the football season.
He's a crummy head coach, though, that ruined has been going to he put 2 programs from the SEC East into the toilet bowl. They're still trying to get out of it. So maybe special teams is a specialty now. He's a special coach, and he coaches special teams. There we go.
The previous caller did make a good point, though. Georgia has been breaking football programs literally since the first game of the season. We saw what happened with that ship. Now Kentucky, and now obviously Florida never recovered from Georgia either. So I want all the Gamecock fans to thank the University of Georgia and Will Muschamp for breaking that program as well. I do have one criticism for the Georgia coaching staff.
Sure.
What are you doing taking out the best quarterback in the nation for that idiot JT Daniels in that game? What are they thinking?
Oh, the bookcase of accountability is over there smoldering right now from stuff you've said before, but okay.
Yeah. Well, if he's not the best, he's top 5, wouldn't you say, my man Bennett?
He's top 5 on the team. He's a top 5 quarterback on the Georgia team. How's that?
On the team?
Yeah.
I'll settle for that. But no, seriously, JT didn't look too hot, and I don't know, that may be the rust everyone's talking about, but it was a little scary. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a bigger sample size, not necessarily versus Tennessee, because I expect that to be maybe the tightest game we've played all year, which isn't saying much. But we had the Clemson game, but that's when JT couldn't throw the ball, as we found out later. So looking forward to a great game at Tennessee, Rob. Can't wait to hear the idiotic comments you make about it afterwards, sir. 43-18.
I haven't made any idiotic comments, but okay, fair enough. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, there you go. Let's go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more for you here on the rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. For the folks that are mocking the fact that I'm on the radio, the problem is that you don't have the talent or the ability to get on the radio. I'd love to hear your radio show. Would love to hear it. All right. And the ratings books put together shows that I get a lot more listeners than you would even dream of. So let's slow down with all of that. You don't know what you're talking about. You absolutely don't know what you're talking about. Sorry if that hurts feelings, but that's just the way that it is. Anyway. Hold on. I don't have a little radio show, but okay. Whatever you guys need to tell yourselves. Let me see your radio show. Would love to see it. Send it my way. Would love to hear it.
Hi, it's Gary David. Are you ready to take a shot at finding a new career? FN America, a growing world-class takes pride in knowing they're doing their part to save lives and protect our freedom. FN offers outstanding benefits, including an on-site health and wellness center, excellent health plans, profit sharing, and 401k plan for all employees. So start carrying your future to them and explore career opportunities at fnamerica.com/careers.
Western Zone Schools were established in 1963 in Detroit, Minnesota. This quiet, I want to say especially upset family for all their best neighbors efforts. During the whole 90s, where everything elected and rules will be not 50% off. More importantly, I would love to see each one of you one more time. Please stop. PTQ Saturday and hello on your feet. Lexington View, Main Street, downtown Lexington.
Fox Sports Radio 1400, online at foxsportsradio1400.com, on your phone with the iHeartRadio app, and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos, the iHeartRadio station.
Final segment of the rundown this afternoon here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Couple of notes here before we get out of here. And we've got game times were announced for this weekend, or excuse me, for next weekend. South Carolina and Auburn will be under the lights at Williams-Brice Stadium, a 7 o'clock matchup on ESPN for next week's game. Also, Clemson and Wake Forest, a game that could decide what is going to happen within the ACC Coastal. That will kick off at noon next week. So Clemson and Wake Forest in a noon matchup on the which could decide, of course, the Atlantic Division champion. I think that the way for Clemson to get into the mix is I think that they need Wake to win. There's like two different scenarios, but obviously they have to win against Wake Forest next weekend. Wake and NC State play each other this weekend. So I think if Wake wins that game, then you need Clemson's got to win over Wake and then hope that Wake loses to Boston College the following week. If NC State wins, then it's different all the way around. So yeah, but there is a chance that it can happen, and I don't know for sure if it's going to. I think that Clemson would like another matchup with Pitt. I don't think that's going to happen though. I think that the run of ACC championships are over for Clemson. So, but there is a snowball's chance. That's pretty much the way that it works out. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the rundown. Here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Later on this week, the gentleman from the Mazodcast will be joining us. We will preview the South Carolina-Mizzou game, which is, if you look at it from the way Las Vegas is looking at it, Gamecocks opened up as a 3-point underdog. They're now a 1-point underdog. In some spots, they're a 1-point favorite. Now, Mizzou, their defense is really, really bad. They don't know who they're going to start at quarterback. So there you go with that. We'll see how that works out for them. But we'll get the thoughts from the Mazodcast as they will tell us everything there is to know about Mizzou, especially the folks heading up to Mizzou, where you can go and all that kind of cool stuff. So we'll have that for you here probably Wednesday, I think is when we're going to work on that. We'll also get the rundown on Connecticut. Man, when you call and try to talk to somebody about the Connecticut football program, they're like, you don't want to talk about basketball? Yeah, all right. Anyway, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the rundown this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, you can also download the podcast. That will be up at about 5 o'clock today. You know, there was some footage yesterday of the Panthers quarterback where I don't know if he's injured or not, but we'll see how that works out. They say he was crying on the sideline. Wow, what a mess. We'll have to see what's going on with the Panthers as things roll along. Tomorrow night, they announced the latest college football playoff rankings. We'll see how that works and see where certain teams are going to be. Of course, you had Wake Forest losing, Michigan State losing, Cincinnati looked average, Alabama looked tested. Are they going to move Alabama down? They're going to move Cincinnati up? What's going to happen? Will Ohio State get into the mix? They kind of struggled a little bit this weekend. Just saying. We'll have to figure out how that works out for them. And, of course, this weekend, as you look at top 25 matchups this weekend, interesting matchup on Thursday night, North Carolina off their win over Wake Forest, which, by the way, if you watch that game, it was like an Arena League game, back and forth all day long. 58-55 was the final. North Carolina and Pitt square off on Thursday night, 7:30. Pitt's a 6.5-point favorite. Cincinnati plays on Friday this week. They're a 23.5-point favorite over South Florida. Alabama, New Mexico State, they get underway on Saturday at noon. The Tide are a 51.5-point favorite. Back out to the phones we go. And welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, this is Ryan. Posted a little bit, never called into the show, but had to call in on Darnold. You were saying he was crying on the sidelines.
Yeah,
I saw kids with.
That's what I read.
I saw
I
kids
could be wrong, but go ahead.
Yeah, I saw kids with signs, Patriots fans, kids with signs with ghost on them, saying the ghosts are back. I think he's got it. He's got something going on in his head. I don't know what it is. I know they got offensive line problems too, but
yeah,
I'll go ahead and drop and get your opinion on that.
Yeah, I heard about that. I appreciate it, and I don't know exactly what all's going on there, but I do know what Patriots quarterback Mac Jones, he may get fined for yanking on someone's ankle or something too. I mean, it's wow with all that. I don't even know where to go with that. The Panthers, though, are they going to make a move for Deshaun Watson in the offseason? We shall see. We shall see how that works out. Billy says he lost faith in Cincinnati. Weak wins. Okay, that's cool. But looking at the rest of the top 25, 17th ranked Auburn, 17th ranked Mississippi State, 13th ranked Auburn. Auburn's a 5.5-point favorite. Wisconsin and Northwestern. The line for that game is at 24. Georgia is at Tennessee. Georgia's a 20.5-point favorite in that matchup. Ohio State and Purdue. Ohio State is a 20-point favorite in that matchup at home. That's at 3:30 on Saturday. Other games, Minnesota and Iowa. Interesting top 20 matchup there. Iowa's a 6-point favorite. That game kicks off at 3:30 as well. So 3 really good games at 3:30. 7 o'clock, Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Texas A&M is a 2.5-point favorite on the road against the Lane Kiffin folks. Kentucky plays at Vanderbilt. Kentucky's a 21-point favorite as the Wildcats look to snap their 3-game losing streak. You've also got NC State and Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a 2-point favorite at home, so that's interesting as well. And the game that I think is going to be my upset pick on the weekend, Notre Dame is at Virginia. Notre Dame is a 5.5-point favorite. I think Virginia wins that game. I really do. If you look at the offensive numbers for Virginia, and they play pretty good defense too. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but I think they can beat Notre Dame. I think that's going to happen. TCU's at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is a 13-point favorite. Oregon gets Washington State. Washington State is a 14-point dog. And Nevada and San Diego State. San Diego State is a 2.5-point favorite. Wow, we'll see what happens there. So lots of interesting top 25 matchups this week. All right, download the podcast. It's going to be up wherever you can find your favorite shows. Just Google. Just use the search feature, Rundown with Rob. The blog page is also up at foxsportsradio1400.com. We'll be talking to you guys later on. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow. We could talk about Florida being a gong show until Wednesday. That's pretty much what it boils down to. I don't think I ever believed in Wake Forest, Alan. Sorry about that. All right, y'all. See y'all later.